Welcome to the Family Corner. My name is Ben, and I'm a student orientation coordinator with the orientation program here at BSU.
And my name is Samantha, and I am an orientation leader. Family Corner is a series that features staff from various departments who are excited to share their expertise and the resources available to support your student. The hope is that this series will provide you new insights and information so that you are better informed as you support your student's transition to college.
In today's episode, we're discussing safety here on campus, as well as the BSU Police Department. Here we're joined by Michael Froio, the Assistant Chief of Police of our BSU Police Department. Welcome, Michael. We're happy to hear from you today. Can you share with us more about your role here at BSU?
Sure, of course. First, thank you for having me part of the program this morning. I greatly appreciate being here. So my name is Michael Froio, Assistant Chief of Police of the Bridgewater State University Police Department. I've been here on Bridgewater State's campus since 1999. I have 25 years of experience in law enforcement. I started at Framingham State Police Department back in '96. I came here as a part-time officer in '99 and rose through the ranks, came on full-time in 2000 and rose through the ranks and currently as stated Assistant Chief.
Yeah.
I oversee and manage the Division of Administration for the Police Department. Community outreach, recruitment, and training, etc. There's a whole host of things that aren't as exciting. So enough about me. Let's get into the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So our first question is, safety on campus is a really important thing to student life here. How can you ensure that students here are safe?
Sure, great question. Safety is the number one concern for us. That's why we're here. That's why we have our own police department. We are charged with the protections of the lives and property of all BSU students, faculty, staff, and visitors. We have our own police department. We operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The men and women of our police department are highly trained. All of our officers attend a municipal police academy. It's the same academy that your hometown city or town police department would attend. And it's run by the Massachusetts Municipal Police Training Committee. Our officers have a number of areas of expertise and specialized training, as well as their basic required training. We patrol the campus on foot, on bicycles, in cruisers. We work with community members to prevent crime, solve problems, and take proactive measures to make sure that BSU is as safe as possible for our community so people can live, learn, and be successful.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So what kind of programs does the BSU Police Department run on and off of campus?
So we have a number of different programs that we offer to our community. We have one of our most popular programs is the RAD programs, which stands for Rape Aggression Defense. It's a basic self-defense program. And it's a 12-hour, 15-hour program that's run one night per week right here on campus. It takes about 4 to 5 weeks to run the class. It's free of charge, and we teach basic self-defense principles. There's one night of classroom, and the remaining 3 or 4 nights is all hands-on. We do live scenario-based drills with our students where we run them through live scenarios, and the instructors, the police officers that are the instructors, put on these suits, and we run them through the scenarios, and they actually are attacked, and the student will then use the techniques that they've been trained to use to fight to get to a safe area and defend themselves. It's one of the only programs that I'm aware of where you actually get to go hands-on with your instructor. So it's completely live. That last night of class, that 4 or 5 hour class, is all hands-on. Our students will go, 100%, and we feel it. We've had officers that have been, knocked out. We've had officers that have been taken out by ambulance, and we love that. We know that that's what's going to happen. We know that going into the class when we get that certification. What I will say is that based on our evaluations from our students, we have a 100% success rate of making the students feel more confident upon completion of our program. So that's a win in my book. If we can give some people some more confidence and self-power, then that's a successful program.
Yeah.
Some of our other programs we have, we do like a general safety, where we just kind of have a back and forth dialogue about the police department, talk about the services we offer, what we do, why we do it. We do barbecues with the students. We pick a residence hall, and we bring in the grills and the officers, and we cook for everybody. We try to do that around finals, so people can blow off some steam, de-stress, come out, meet the officers. We'll set up some lawn games and stuff. Sometimes we'll bring the cruisers down, and kids will get in and out. Some kids, sometimes our college students like getting in and out of the cars, playing with the lights and stuff more than little kids do. So we'll bring those down. We do some midnight breakfasts along the same line. We'll bring our officers down and we'll cook breakfast around midnight, and students can come in, have a bite, and meet our officers. We do an active shooter, civilian response to active shooter and active events response. It's a program that I teach, how to better increase your chance of survival, God forbid, if you're involved in an active attack or an active shooter event. And then we do a CPR, first aid, AED program, and a Narcan program where we provide a certification course to our students, staff, and faculty. It's a 4-hour long program. We give them the certification. It's a 2-year certification, and sometimes we'll have students come through and twice when they're here, and then they come back afterwards and renew their certification. And that's just a few. Those are kind of our most popular programs, but we have several others, and all of our programs are open, first to our students, faculty, and staff, and then members of the surrounding communities can join after.
Yeah, that's great. So I know you had kind of talked about, touched upon a little bit about how our BSU Police Department is separate from like municipal town departments. Do you mind talking about a little bit more about that? How you guys differ? Are there any like similarities about how you guys operate, stuff like that?
Great question. So yeah, we have our own police department here. We fully function on our own. Chief Tillinghast, who's the chief of our police department, he runs this department like a small town, and we are a small town. We have a population during the day somewhere in the vicinity of 12 to 14,000 people with students, faculty, staff, and guests. That's a small town within a town. So we are completely separate from Bridgewater Police. Although we work very, very closely with them, we have an outstanding relationship. We're all sworn in as what's called a special police officer, and that gives us that jurisdiction and authority anywhere in the town of Bridgewater. And that's needed because a lot of our roadways are public ways in the town. They're not owned by the university, they're owned by the town. So that enables us to take action and do what we need to do to make sure those streets that run through the campus are safe. We have daily communications. I'm in communications with their senior command staff every day, as is my chief to the town chief. We've always had a great relationship with them. They help us out when we need them, and we help them out when they're short-staffed as well. We also have great relationships with some of our other mutual aid partners within the county. So we are also sworn in as deputy sheriffs for Plymouth County, and that gives us that county-wide authority should we need to go into another city or town for a mutual aid request or for an investigation that may start here, and the student lives in another town, they're a commuter, and we need to go in and take part in that investigation. We're also, we have regional partners with the SEMLEC Law Enforcement Group, which is the Southeastern Mass Law Enforcement Council, and they have, SEMLEC SWAT, search and rescue, hostage and crisis negotiation, and detective unit. So we have members that are part of each of those units, and if we needed something here, it's just a phone call away because we're regional partners with them. So. As well as the Brockton District Court, the DA's office. We have a liaison. One of our detective sergeants is a liaison with the Brockton District Court and the District Attorney's office as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great. So how does safety at BSU differ from safety at other universities, and how does Bridgewater State University really stand out?
Sure, that's a great question. I like to say that we're the best. As I'm sure other university and college police departments I would hope that they would think that they're the best agency. But I do. I really believe that we are the best police department in the nation. I firmly believe that. I would put our department and our officers up against any in this nation. I will tell you that we were ranked 4th safest college and university in the country by the FBI and the U.S. Department of Education. So somebody thinks we're the best, so close to the best. But we were also number 1 in New England, so we are the best in New England. And how we get there, it's not just the police department. It's a collaborative effort between the police, the faculty, the staff, and our students. We can't do that alone. We have a lot of equipment. We have, somewhere of 150 to 200 cameras on this campus. I know there are some campuses that don't have cameras. Our cameras are very effective in keeping the university safe. The cameras are monitored 24/7 by our dispatchers and officers that work the desk. We have, again, the great relationship with our mutual aid counterparts, working, very closely with the Community Standards Department on campus, as well as, the fire department to make sure people are safe, area hospitals. So it's a collaborative effort. I think we do a lot of great things here to keep this community safe. And again, that's why we exist. And the safety of our community is the most important thing to all of us. And we do whatever it takes to make sure that everybody is safe when they're here.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you work alongside other campus resources to help ensure that student safety?
So we have a very great working relationship with our resources on campus. I'll give you a few examples. So we work very closely with our health services department and our counseling department for mental health type calls for service or students in crisis. So essentially during the business hours of Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, students have the opportunity to either to contact the counseling center directly, or they can contact the police department and we can assist them in getting counseling service, working with the counselors of the Wellness Center. After hours, the students can, faculty or staff or members of the community can call the police department and we will assist them in getting them counseling services after hours from 4 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next morning. Our officers are highly trained to handle mental health type calls. And really we wear many hats in this job. We're not just in the law enforcement role. That's a very small component of what we do. We're more in the service industry, customer service type industry. So we're here as a resource for students if they just need to talk. They need somebody to talk to other than a family member or a friend. They need help getting those resources after hours. As an example, we have a civilian clinician that works within our department, and Katrina is our clinician, and she works also with the Bridgewater Police, East and West Bridgewater Police, and us. And she goes in between each department, and assists on those types of calls. So we can have her come up to the station. We've had Katrina go right to the room. The officers will go right to the student's location, and we help get them the services that they need. If she's not available, we're able to connect them with a counselor at the hospital. We're able to provide them transportation to the hospital. Our goal is to make sure that that student is safe and that they get the help and the resources that they need immediately so that they can be safe. We also work with the Residence Life and Housing Department. We do a lot of training with the RAs and the RDs and the area coordinators. We do some training in August, when we welcome back the new students and we work collaboratively. We have barbecues and pizza and ice cream. I love the ice cream truck. They had the ice cream truck there one night, and I think I had maybe 5 or 6 ice creams. We do that. We also work very closely with Equal Opportunity in Title IX. So students have the ability to file a report for a sexual assault or rape or dating violence or domestic violence with the police department, with Title IX, with both, and we take care of the investigation on the criminal side, and then we connect them with the Equal Opportunity Title IX office to make sure that those resources are activated as well. And we work with community standards. When students make mistakes, as they're going to do, sometimes there's the criminal component, and then there's also the student conduct component. and we have a liaison within our department that speaks regularly with the director of community standards, and making sure that those open lines of communication are always there. So, and I know there's a number of other departments we work with, but as far as the closest group, it's probably the health services, counseling, Title IX, and residence life and housing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of habits can students work to develop to make sure that they're keeping themselves safe?
Sure. So there's a number of things that they can do. Specifically, like let's say at night. If people are walking at night, I would say if you have to walk on campus at night, walk in groups. Don't try not to walk alone. But if you had to walk alone, have your cell phone out. Make sure use the flashlight so you can be seen, especially if it's dark out. In a not so well lit area. Have that flashlight on so that vehicles that are coming by can see you. Wear bright colored clothing. We have a safety app. It's called Rave Guardian. We encourage our community to download that app. It's free for smartphone users, and it's essentially your own direct line of communication to the police department. If what we recommend is when you're walking, you have the phone out, you have the app open. So that it's ready for use. If you need it, you just push a button and it's direct communication to 911. Tells us exactly where the person is calling from on campus by using the GPS in their phone. Sends an alarm to the computer in dispatch, and we can pinpoint that person's last known location, send officers to them to check on them. You can set safety timers, to and from class or a building into your car. If you don't make it within that time, it sends the alarm to the station. You can set guardians where other people can look out for you if you're going to go here or go there. You can tell people where you're going to go and they can monitor. So we recommend downloading that. We recommend taking our RAD program, some of our general safety programs, and just being aware of your surroundings, is so important. We're on a college campus, and I get it. Our cell phone is our life, right? We're lost without that. The amount of people I see that have their head in their cell phone when they're walking, not paying attention, just walking out into the street, right out in front of vehicles, it's an issue. So if you're going to have the phone out, have it open, and make sure people are looking up. If you're wearing, AirPods or headphones or something like that, especially with noise canceling headphones, you want to be able to hear what's going on around you. Keep one of them out so you always have an ear open. Tell people where you're going if you're going to go somewhere where you haven't been before. If you're meeting somebody online for the first time, communicate that with family and friends. Don't just go somewhere and not tell anybody. Keep a trail of everything you do. It's so important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Definitely. So lastly, what advice can you offer to families of new students at BSU?
Great question. Being a parent, myself, I have a 19-year-old boy and an almost 17-year-old boy. And I remember when I was their age, and I remember, I grew up in a very strict house, very strict. My curfew was 11 o'clock when I was a senior in high school, and when I'd come home from college on the weekends, it was 11:30. And that was difficult because I'd go out at like 11:15, and my father would say, make sure you're home at 11:30, and I'm like, it's 45 minutes, and he'd say, you need to be home at 11:30. I never went home after that. That was the last weekend I went home, but I push the limits definitely because of that amount of freedom that we have when you're away. And for some of our students, they've never been away from home, so they get to college and it's just enormous amounts of freedom. Nobody checking on you, nobody telling you what to do, nobody making you dinner, nobody cleaning for you, nobody doing your laundry. A number of times we'll get calls from parents that first couple of days. I haven't talked to my son or daughter in a day. I'm concerned about them. I need you to go up to their room and check on them. We don't do that, for obvious reasons, but it will happen, and parents will be concerned, and they will call the police because they don't know who else to call. Right? It's middle of the night. Who else do I call? Well, the police are there. I would say, be patient with your students. They are going to try to, push those limits. I certainly did, and I'm seeing it now with my boys, and one is out of high school, one is in high school. And have those conversations with them before September, before they come to BSU, about keeping themselves safe, maintaining that open line of communication with your family, with your student is super important. We want our students and our community to feel safe coming to the police department. to talk with us and to inform us when there's a problem, or if somebody has a concern or a question. What we don't want is people to not come to us to report things. And a lot of times that will happen. They'll call their parents and not sure what to do, and their parents might sit on it for a little bit because they're not sure what to do. We want people to call us. We want you to feel safe coming to the police station, meeting the officers and the staff, and we want our parents of our students to also feel comfortable doing that. So again, just maintaining those open lines of communication. Be patient as you can be, and obviously, one of the other things that may happen is students will talk to parents about some things that may be going on, and then the parents will call the police to report that on behalf of the student, and the student has no knowledge that they're calling us to report that incident. The student has to be present and part of that conversation. So, and again, our door is always open to parents. If parents have questions, they're more than welcome to reach out to any one of us, myself, my chief, and we'd be happy to help.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, Officer Froio, for your perspective on the Bridgewater State University Police Department and as well as safety on campus. By knowing all of these safety opportunities, I'm sure it will help the transition for our new students.
Yeah.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely. Thank you for viewing today's episode of Family Corner, focused on safety. Be sure to catch our other episodes, as well as visiting the BSU Family Hub website, where we talk with other campus partners about the student experience just like today. We look forward to seeing you there. Bye.